Had you actually read the email, you would know that this podcast may contain explicit language and offensive content. The views expressed by these human resources experts are theirs alone and do not represent the views of their past, present, or future employers. Now that we have that out of the way, welcome to Jaded HR, the podcast that says everything you're thinking, but says it out loud. Here are your hosts, Warren and Cece.
All right, we're finally back. We took an unexpected week off just because life was a little crazy for a little while, but glad to be back. How's your last, it's been a month. How's the last couple weeks been going?
Been a month. Personally, we just finished our kitchen. We remodeled our kitchen. We refinished our cabinets. We got new countertops. We put a new gas cooktop in. We converted it from electric. It's amazing. So I've been enjoying my new kitchen.
Yeah. Now, okay, here's the question. I like cooking. I have fun cooking, but do you think there's a real difference in cooking with gas versus electric?
Yes, 100%.
The water heats quicker?
Everything cooks quicker, but it cooks more accurately, which I love.
Okay. When we built this house, we got gas cooktop. And we're not super chefs or anything like that, but we're enjoying it. But everybody was like, oh, it's such a game changer. And we're like, yeah, I haven't noticed the game changingness of it, but it's good.
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
In my book.
So the week we were supposed to record, I was traveling for work. I had school up to my yin yang, and it was just way too much. I just couldn't keep up with that. But today, speaking of Tuesday, is Cinco de Mayo, the day after May the 4th.
Yes.
Star Wars. Been a lot of fun things going on.
I did not celebrate Cinco de Mayo. I feel like I'm missing out. I really just wanted a margarita.
Margarita afterwards.
I should have had a margarita while we were recording.
Absolutely. I could have thought about that. Someone introduced me to something, a Corona-rita, where you take a Corona, put it upside down, and it fills the glass. I don't understand. I'll have to try it out, as now I'm morbidly curious.
So delicious and refreshing. I would say also what I learned about while living in Texas was ranch water, it's Topo Chico, which is like a Texas-based sparkling water, tequila, a little simple syrup, and a tahini. It's refreshing. So it's basically like a skinny margarita, but with sparkling water, but it's delicious. I highly recommend it. There's lime in there too. There's lime in there. I don't know.
Did you celebrate Star Wars Day at all?
I didn't. It was just so busy.
I know. I said I was going to watch Rogue One, as that's my favorite of the Star Wars movies. I said I was going to do that. I didn't. I didn't even get caught up on Maul, which my wife mocks the hell out of me for watching Maul because it's a cartoon, like Star Wars Rebels and things.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
She mocks me.
Aww.
So, but end of next month comes Mandalorian and Grogu, so in the theaters. I'm going to have to wait to see it. I've just given up on theaters forever,
I think I'm going to go to the theater for that. It's either that or Devil Wears Prada too. My taste is vast.
Oh yeah. My assistant is talking about the Devil Wears Prada too, so yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. We're talking offline. We haven't prepared. We've had a month and we haven't prepared, but you came up with some good topics. So what do you have for us today?
Well, there's a few things going down. So I know we've talked about this in the past, our love of like trendy phrases like quiet quitting or all those other ones. So there's a new one and it's called quiet cracking. Do you know what that means?
I didn't know what it means. It's terms they come up with. It's like each new BuzzFeed author has to try and come up with the newest term for something, and now we got quiet cracking. So go for it.
So quiet cracking is the workplace trend getting attention, where employees who are emotionally exhausted, disengaged, and are staying anyway because the job market is feeling unstable. The way I'm interpreting it is individuals who are getting burnt out, but they can't really do anything about it because the job market just sucks right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think I've discussed it in other episodes. Our application rate has gone so far down. And you think with all these people, you always hear, oh, this company laid off, and none of them are in our industries, but you keep hearing all these massive layoffs here, there, everything. You think there'd be more people in the market, but I think people are just sitting on their hands right now instead of going out there and pursuing whatever job it is that they want.
Yeah, and so last time we touched upon this a little bit was, I think, a few episodes ago, and we were talking about how, well, I was saying how usually you see like a little turnover uptick after bonus payouts. So I'm thinking now, like, if people aren't moving, they're definitely not moving.
Yeah. I recently celebrated my 7th anniversary where I'm at now, and it's the longest I've been at a job ever. And I don't foresee myself going anywhere ever. I think this is where it would be hopefully my final destination, work destination. But, happy, I'm content. I have all the freedom, all the responsibilities I want. I have a good team around me, good management that I work with. There's some bad managers out there I have to deal with, but I work with good management, and I don't see the need to make a change anytime soon.
Same.
Unless Elon Musk wants to throw $3 billion, a ridiculous amount of money at me. I don't know. I don't see that happening either.
Yeah, I like where I'm at, and I understand where the anxiety is coming from for people. They also talk about job hugging, which is basically people who, they may not be happy in their role, but they are clinging to that role like there's no tomorrow because of anxiety of layoffs and stuff like that.
I think a lot of these things, when I see these companies doing layoffs, they're mainly some of the big name companies that are IT centric, the Amazons, the Googles, the big companies like that. And that would be, I know some people take some sort of pleasure or pride out of working for one of these giant companies. But, I've known a few people who've worked at Amazon, who've worked at Google and those other big name companies, and none of them have been there terribly long. They last like 2 years, and then they're off to the next thing. And you talk about getting burned out. I think that's exactly what happens, that it's an environment that isn't really conducive for long-term growth for most people.
Yeah.
A certain type of person that's going to be a great environment for, and I think they're willing to do the churn to get to that person. Even where I work, man, I've got a little saying, once you've been with our company for like 3 years, I think you're going to be golden and you're going to be here for a long time. And it's sort of like, that first 3 years, are you going to make it, you're going to come, go, what have you. But after 3 years, I think we've got our hooks in you and you're going to be staying a while. But I think that those big companies, they just don't care. They're saying, hey, I'll get this new batch of graduates coming in who they would love to put a Google or Amazon or pick your favorite big name company, Apple, onto their resume. And yeah. But you were talking about, oh gosh, the first term, quite cracking.
Yeah.
I actually see that.
Yeah.
This week is going to be, later this week, I'm taking my first real PTO of this year, and I desperately need it.
Yeah.
To get away. I know I'm not being at my best at work, and I've been trying to afford my PTO because I have long-term plans that I want to do with my PTO in 2028, May of 2028 or summer of 2028 I want to do. So I want to build that PTO balance so I can take a few weeks off and at a time, maybe
nice.
4 or 5 weeks, and then head out. But I'm trying to use very little in the meantime to get me through there. But the only other thing is you try and use to save your PTO, but then you got doctor's appointments and dentist appointments, and you've got to.
For like a salaried position, I don't think that you should be using PTO to go to the doctor. It's stupid.
Well, if you're taking like half a day or something.
Yeah.
Speaking of doctor's appointments, one of the things, I get my appointments at the first available. My dentist appointment every 6 months is at 7:30 a.m. I get that early slot, so I make it to work like 10 minutes late when it's all said and done.
Okay.
And like I had my dermatologist appointment last Friday, open at 9, so I was like an hour late, but I didn't take a PTO.
Yeah.
I was just an hour late. But these people, they have to have their appointments at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock. I mean, you have to take half a day to do that. Is you have to leave, go to the office, spend the time. And another thing I like about being early in the morning, getting those first thing in the morning appointments is they haven't fallen behind because of everybody else. You're getting in there and you're getting seen and getting out. So that's why I love the first appointment of the day. And if my dentist appointment is 7 months out versus 6 months out, then I'll take it. But anyways, another little sidetrack, ADD mind.
Hey everyone, let's take a quick break to talk about something that really matters to the show. If you received value from today's episode, maybe we made you laugh, maybe we just got you through your commute after a rough day, or heaven forbid you actually learned something, then we want to introduce you to the idea of value for value. This is a concept popularized by the podfather and podcasting pioneer Adam Curry, and it's pretty simple. You decide what this podcast is worth to you. If you got value, you give value back. That could be your time, by sharing the show with a friend. That could be your talent, by sending a story or ideas. Or, if you're in a position to, it could be financial support, whatever amount feels right to you. There's no pressure and no expectations. This only works if it's real. So if this podcast has earned it and you want to help keep it going and growing, check the links in the description to support the show. And if not, that's okay too. We're just glad you're here listening. But you know the deal. Leave us a rating or review on your podcast player. It really helps others find us. We want to give a huge thank you to our current supporters, Hallie, the original Jaded HR rock star, Bill, and Mike. Back to you, Warren and Cece.
AI layoffs are becoming more and more. There's hiring freezes, there's org restructures, and people are, they're not comfortable with AI. I saw a meme the other day and it said, I've had more people pressuring me to use AI than I've had people offer me drugs in middle school. And I think this is interesting for me because from what I was reading, it kind of seems like people are unsure of how to utilize AI. Like, I think companies have done a really good job at being like, oh, AI is going to augment work and it's going to make your job easier. And let's use Copilot in this. But people haven't become comfortable in using it and when to use it, like use cases. There's just a really big lack of trust in it. I think use cases are probably the most important thing when we're doing AI-related learning in the organization. But I get how the trust thing is huge because people are trusting of a new technology. Is my job safe? And I know you're telling me to upskill, but at the same time, I'm feeling like I'm going to be pushed out.
Yeah, I'm still a junkie. I love AI.
Yeah.
I just pulled up. I don't know if I talked about this on a previous episode. I was using AI to make our episodes and our descriptions more search engine friendly. Then I just started asking it some various questions about the podcast. I put our RSS feed in so it can read everything. It reads the transcripts. It knows the podcast inside out. So I asked it, and I said, tell me about what makes Jaded HR successful. Ooh. And one of the final paragraphs is, later in the podcast run, Warren develops a highly energetic and fast-paced chemistry with Cece. Their dynamic is heavily influenced by their shared ADHD, which leads to highly entertaining, tangent-filled conversations where they frequently bounce from one topic to the next with no strict agenda. They also balance each other out well by bonding over pop culture analysis, particularly when they co-host special episodes breaking down the HR violations in the television show The Office, which we haven't done in months. But
Oops.
I just thought that was so perfect. The ADD and using AI, it all ties it in together pretty well.
Speaking of a use case for AI and speaking also of ADHD, I just started kind of digging into co-work. So I don't know if you have Copilot or if anyone out there has Copilot. Like co-work is one of the bots that are within Copilot, and it actually helps you plan your day. It scans all your emails and helps you do to-do lists, and it's kind of having your own virtual executive assistant. And it's fantastic. So if anyone like Warren and I are afflicted with the squirrel brain, try that because it's been really good for me.
There's a Google tool I keep meaning to use, and we have the Google Gemini company-wide license, which is really awesome because it doesn't get outside of the office. Everything is into our little internal network. So we can ask it specific questions related to work, and we don't have to worry about populating the LLM on its own or with our information. And one of the tools that keeps trying to promote to me is a virtual assistant. And I keep saying I'm going to do it, but I've been too busy to find time to get this virtual assistant as well. But I will embrace the hell out of it, especially when it comes to managing my email. Email is, if I had unlimited budget, I would hire someone just to deal with my email. I can't do it. I can't.
My company, actually, we got this new tool. It's called Spark AI, and it's fantastic. It's an AI chat bot. Well, I don't know the best way to explain it. So it's like an AI chat bot, and there's different bots within it. And we have it for our managers of people because it's almost like an executive coach for our managers. And there's a lot of role playing in there too, which is great. So we're kind of pushing it to do things like difficult performance conversations. We have a use case right now where it's using it so that they are seen as less aggressive. So like, it's a really cool tool. It's very interactive. It gives you instant feedback and instant coaching in real time. So yeah, I think that is such an awesome tool.
That sounds awesome. I'm going to probably end up looking into that. I think a little coach to help, especially if you know you have an issue. Like this manager sounds like they're aware they come off a little aggressive and hostile, or a little too assertive for some people. You can fix it. That's why, like, if you have the person, I'm not that way.
But it's really
nothing in the world's going to help you fix.
We've gotten a license for anyone who's a people manager. So you automatically get that license. And we've had a lot of people using it. We're still trying to push usage up, but great tool. I highly recommend it.
We have one manager who's one I've talked about before without using the name, but they are using AI to respond to emails, and they're just cutting and pasting. Doesn't make, and being that there's a several year history of knowing their writing style and how they do it, and now all of a sudden we're getting these things. It's like everybody just jokes them behind their back, like, oh, this is another AI cut.
Oh no, someone needs to give this person feedback. You're like, nah.
It's comical. It's just, he sent something to my recruiter and she forwarded it to me. And then next thing you know, she works remotely. I'm on the phone with her and we're just cracking up together reading this. It's just, it's not an original thought at all that came out of this person's mind. And just the wording, the text choice and things like that, definitely AI.
Yeah.
It's cringeworthy, but it's funny as hell too. So. But here's the thing. My problem is I'm as confident as I can be that he is sending things like this to clients as well now. That this is his MO. And he's not double checking at all to see if there's any accuracy. It's like, draft a response to this email I just received. And he just cuts and pastes.
I was on Reddit and I was just like scrolling. I'm in a bunch of the communities on Reddit, and one of them is a community on The Office, speaking of which. And someone posted something and I was like, I feel like there's a piece of trivia about that. So I went to ChatGPT and I looked it up. It was something to do with the mugshot of Roy after, he beat Jim up, or tried to. But I looked it up and ChatGPT said something to the effect of, oh, this is really funny because that mugshot they used was his real mugshot from like a post thing. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. So then I had to ask ChatGPT, can you source that?
Verify your sources.
And then it came back and it's like, oh my gosh, you are absolutely correct for checking that because that was completely not true. And I'm like, ugh. And that is such a stupid example, right? Frivolous. But at the same time, I could just imagine that person blindly doing things with AI and ChatGPT or whatever and sending them and not checking them and giving either wrong information or completely wrong grammar or stupid stuff.
hello, everything on Facebook right now.
The cesspool of social media. I liked Facebook better when it was only for college students. It was so much better.
I'm still addicted to social media, Facebook. I'm posting less, but I'm still on it way too much. And I've joined some new groups. I bought a new truck right after Easter.
Oh, yeah.
And I joined a club for Land Cruisers, essentially. Now I was invited to go camping on the weekend of the 9th, and I'm like, oh, that's Mother's Day weekend, and my son's graduating from college, can't do it, and they're like, so it's like things like that are pulling me back in, as I don't have to see the drama and all the AI created.
That's nice, yeah.
Yes, but for this, and then I'd actually say, give me a quiz on this, and it like more than one time, I would answer a question and it would be wrong. I'd say, "Are you sure?" And I would, and it would go, "Oh, you're absolutely right." And but you have to have, like you were saying, you have to have that mentality of, this isn't passing the smell test,
right?
And I would ask it, "Are you sure?" Sometimes it would say positively, and then it would give me the little link icon, and I could go back and see, oh, it's from my notes or from the lecture.
Nice.
Exactly. It takes a certain level of awareness to be able to just use some common sense and say, whoa, put your brakes on. Is this true? And ask it. And it, like I said, it's good at calling itself out after. Well, once you call it out, it's good at saying, oh, you're right.
Yeah.
And that is incorrect.
Okay, so not HR related, but kind of related to what we're saying, or we're talking about. I feel like I've been giving this a lot of thought, especially with children and children who are growing up in a world with AI and AI information being iffy sometimes. I feel like children should learn the basics of life, the basics of comprehension, the basics of all that stuff before we give them certain tools. And I'm thinking about it too, because now I hear about
skills.
Like, for example, why is everything in a tablet? I understand that this is the world we live in, but at the same time, there is a piece of me that's like, why can't, up until a certain developmental age, children be given books and paper and be given, like, this is how you find information, like just the logical steps of how to find information, how to research, how to do this before you just give them this incredibly fallible product.
I think it's so crazy. My kids are grown now, but in the 80s, when I was going to school, primarily as I didn't graduate high school until 92, but I had a JanSport book bag that was always overpacked, overstuffed with all these books.
Yes.
Because each class had a book, and it had a separate notebook for it.
Yes.
And you had homework in all your classes, because nowadays they're doing block scheduling in high school and stuff,
yeah.
where you have Tuesday, Thursday classes and Monday. Well, now, from elementary school on, our county gives the kids a Chromebook, and you get the same Chromebook year after year until it's time to refresh it and get a new one. But like my kids went all the way through, had a Chromebook.
But are there textbooks in there?
On it. Mm-hmm.
See, I don't
downloaded in there.
Even from the anatomy of the eye, using screens at such a young age, I feel like that in and of itself should be Am I crazy?
Well, it's funny, in my class, it's not an official cohort of students, but I've been with the same student in like 4 classes. We just sort of started at the same time, and now we know each other. We do group projects together, which I hate group projects, but she still gets the physical book, and she's like 24, 25,
yeah.
And she has to have the physical book.
I have to have a book.
No. Give me the digital one. Give me the digital book. That's all I'm saying.
But how do you...
It's interesting.
How do you dog ear in a digital book? How do you highlight in a digital book? How do you fold pages in a physical book?
Okay. Here's my studying tool. I saw this on YouTube, and I've been doing it. So I take the digital book, I cut and paste every word of every chapter into a Google Doc, including the images and everything. Now I load that into NotebookLM, and I load the recordings of my lectures, and I record my notes that I've taken, and I put it all into NotebookLM, and then I can ask NotebookLM questions, and I can have it generate me a quiz to practice. And what I also will do is I'll say, here's the last quiz we take. This is my professor's style of quizzes and tests. I put that in there, and we actually, in the final exam, I had one or two extremely similar questions to what NotebookLM spit out as saying, these are, practice questions for you in your test. So it's fun.
I get it.
And with NotebookLM, I can create a podcast to listen to it combines all my, so I have my hour and a half one-way commute. So I get out of work, I punch up the podcast, and I'm studying on my way home. And it is so, I'll share one with you. It is so good how the material is. It's crazy.
You had me at the podcast because I'm like, I listen. So,
yes.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, I'm sold. I'm just thinking for young kids. Like, are we setting them up for success?
Elementary yield, yeah. But then again, I'm running into, we hired some younger people to do hands-on technical work. Not technical IT, but physical work, I guess. These people are in their early 20s and they can't do our online onboarding. They can't do, and it just frustrates me to no end that they can't do.
Yeah.
I mentioned to you off there, we just hired my son.
Yay!
And he's going to work with me over the summer in the warehouse. He's not going to be working directly with me or anything. But I went through, did a Google Meet with him and watched him do his onboarding. It's not hard at all. The only thing my son had a problem with is doing tax forms because he's never done them before. And B, he doesn't know his account information for his deposit. It's like, is that my debit card number? I'm like, no, that's not your debit card number. But
that's cute.
Yeah.
I think we expect a lot out of Gen Z technology-wise because of the social media piece. Like, oh, they're on TikTok and everything, but we still forget, like, it's not like people intuitively know how to work an LMS if they've never been in one. Just because they know how to make a TikTok video doesn't mean they know how to log into an LMS. And we have to be patient with them.
That's very true. But as I was watching my son do the onboarding, you click a link and it's like, even though we put instructions, it's very common sense. You put your name, you put your address, you just fill in the whole thing. The onboarding is filling in the blanks and reading and signing off on a couple of policies and things. It's just, it's not that difficult.
It's not that difficult.
But I think I mentioned earlier, I hired an intern for the summer. In her previous experience, she was a social media, or actually in her current experience, she does it for her college. She's one of the social media creators for their admissions department. So that'll be interesting to see. So,
that's cool.
That'll be cool because nobody on my team is social media adept. We're not social media people, but it'll be interesting to see if she can bring anything from that to the table as well.
Love it.
Well, let's get back on to HR. You had another topic, I think, at your list here.
Oh, no, I wanted to go back really quick because we were talking about AI and Gen Z and like entry-level jobs and everything like that. So, I think I read like a few weeks ago that IBM actually have opened up a bunch of entry-level jobs, actually tripling the amount of entry-level jobs now because two things is like, one is they realize that AI has certain limitations, but B, after they did some layoffs, they took time to really sit down and look at what an entry-level job looks like today. And they rewrote a ton of job descriptions to account for what an entry-level job in the state of having AI looks like. And now they're opening those jobs up. So I do think it's super important. And I really like how they did that. Yes, they did eliminate jobs, which is unfortunate. But for them to kind of be like, hey, listen, even AI has limitations. So now we're going to invest in what this looks like.
Yeah, I've been fighting the battle and finally winning a little bit. The work my company does is very unique. We don't have a ton of competitors who do exactly what we do in the engineering world. And I've been saying we need to hire entry-level people and train and develop them ourselves because we have some success hiring outside people with skills you can...
Transferable?
Transferable skills. There we go. Have some transferable skills out of there. And we do fairly well, but it's not a surefire thing. But we've now got this will be the second summer with 2 interns. that they are kicking butt.
Nice.
And I just say we've got to keep them motivated because, by the time they get fully in the swing, we got people who are over the age of retirement. And at some point, these people are going to say, you know what? It's time.
It's time.
And those people are not going to be replaceable at all.
Yep.
But the more time we have these people growing up and developing under them and improving their skills, it's going to be really good. So I'm really looking forward to that. We're going to actually have more interns this summer than we've had in a very long time.
That's cool.
I'm happy.
We had an intern last year, a summer intern last year on our team, and she did such an amazing job that she was job offered. She graduates in May, so she graduates this month, and then she's coming to work with us immediately after she gets her master's degree.
Sweet.
That's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, that's ideal. When I was interviewing interns, my son has applied to hundreds of internships. Disney said they were going to hire him. They went through the whole thing and then ghosted him.
That's weird for Disney.
Yeah. And he emailed the recruiter and followed up, and the recruiter didn't respond, and he never got any final feedback out of it. But all the interns I interviewed, all of them said, how hard it is to get an internship. And one girl, fortunately, that's not the one we hired. My recruiter boiled it down to 4 candidates, and if we just closed our eyes and did any meeny, miny, mo, we would have come up with a really good candidate. And I do feel bad as I really liked all of them. And one thing I did this year is I told my assistant and my recruiter, I said, hey, the decision is y'all's. Unless something really, I have a really big red flag, I'll let you make the decision. I just want to sit in and be part of it. They did, and I'm really happy. So
Yeah.
I wish I could have hired all 4.
Oh.
I just was not able to.
I feel like it was easy. Like, I'm thinking to grad school. I'm like, it was easy for me to get an internship, but because I got 2 really good internships, but they were all free. Now they're not unpaid, which good for you guys. Like, I'm happy that you're getting paid for your labor.
I told my son as he's going for internships, next room listening to him do an interview once. And the question was, what are your pay expectations? And his answer was probably the worst answer ever, was, I don't care. He said he didn't care. And I said, okay. After I came to the coach, okay, I know what you're saying, but let's rephrase that. Say, hey, I'm really open to salary. The experience is what's most important to me. I can make do with whatever you offer, or even free.
The experience is really what I'm after.
Yeah, exactly. But he just said, I don't care.
Whatever.
I think in that interview, that was the only negative feedback I had for him after that interview.
You reminded me of this one time. I have this job interview, and I'm telling my parents, like, do not come into this room unless the house is on fire. Do not come in this room. And what does my dad do? Walks in the room to look for a screwdriver. And, like, luckily, the camera was facing me and he was on the other side, so the camera didn't see it. But the whole time, I'm like, oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to do my best interview while my dad is rummaging in the room. I'm like, get out of this room.
Yeah. I haven't had that experience. I've never had a bad experience being on video camera or a friend of mine who is a VP of her company. This is the peak of COVID. Everybody's working from home. She has an office set up in her spare room, and her mother comes out of the shower and drops towel for everybody to see. And I was like, oh gosh.
So
and that wasn't even the room the mother was staying in. So like, what are you even?
It's my nightmare. I'd be like, so we're done here. I'm not gonna have a great day.
Yeah. Well, this has been our first YouTube episode, so hopefully it goes well. Hopefully we can edit it well. I've been practicing editing. We've been recording in video for a while, and I've been playing with the editing, so hopefully that can go well. And get some social media clips out of it. I got an AI tool I'm using to help with that. So yeah, I think this word is sort of like with naked mothers walking in behind their camera is a good place to
Yeah.
on the podcast for this episode. So thank you very much for listening, and we will be back in 2 weeks with yet another fun episode.
Yay!
So as always, I'm Warren.
I'm Cece.
And we're here helping you survive HR one what the fuck moment at a time.